Infinite, you'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from this station.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Philadelphia 76ers are expecting James Harden to show up at training camp sometime today. Harden skipped media day on Monday and the first day of training camp on Tuesday. Harden is still trying to get the Sixers to trade him to the Clippers. The two teams have not had any significant talks regarding the seven-time All-Star, which means Harden may have to suck it up and stay with the Sixers. The Sixers can fine him for each day he fails to report. Harden will make $32.9 million this season. As much as Harden wants out of Philadelphia, he doesn't want to lose his money. The NBA has already hit him for $100,000 for missing media day. The Dodgers might know today who they'll play in the playoffs. If Arizona beats Milwaukee today, the Dodgers and Arizona will start their best-of-5 series on Saturday here in LA. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
On Monday, October 9th, don't miss the KBLA Talk 1580 exclusive. The tape. 1 year later.
Y'all were coming for us.
Yeah, but Tavis, that's not in my heart. I wasn't coming for anyone like that. I apologize, but that was not me. That's not in my heart. And like I said a few moments ago, I have a solid, demonstrable record of shared power that's real and concrete. That can't be misinterpreted.
Join Tavis Smiley and an all-star panel of political insiders, influencers, and journalists for a look back at the crisis that shook LA City Hall when 4 Latino leaders were caught on tape making racist, demeaning, and derogatory statements about black people and other fellow citizens. On Monday, October 9th, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, The Tape, 1 year later. We're broadcast live in afternoon drive from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. When all was said and done, was more said than done. 1 year later, are there fractures in LA's black-brown political partnership? And where do we go from here? Don't miss The Tape, 1 year later. Only on KBLA Talk 1580, Monday, October 9th, live from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. We've got a lot to talk about.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Now that the bridge is on this side of the border,
Some of that.
won't y'all come on over here with us? You wanna walk the water? And if you ever should see a skunk shake his rump, tell him to come on over here for some snake funk in the dump, baby. Now we got this stick that will set you free. All you got to do is take a closer walk with me. And we got this thing that's full of magic tricks. So come feel, if you will, the magic of the Dookie stick. They want to play for you. Play, mama. Yeah.
They want to sing to you. A weedy M.I.E. bespoke. They want your hips to move.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's First Things First. It's Javi Bernardin for Dominique DiPrima today. Very glad to have you with us, whether you're listening on 1580 AM here in Los Angeles, the free KBLA app, or joining us live on YouTube. You can watch us live on YouTube. And I am very pleased to be joined this hour by Keith Underwood. He is the host of Black in the Green Room, 9 p.m. Saturdays here on KBLA Talk 1580. Black in the Green Room profiles and celebrates black entertainers, creators, and showbiz executives who tell real stories from their lives and careers. Keith has spent most of his professional life as a Hollywood publicist, helping celebrities achieve their dreams. Black in the Green Room is for anyone who aspires to have a career in the entertainment industry, or listeners who just want to sip the tea poured directly into your cup by your favorite celebrities and personalities. Keith Underwood is here with us now. Keith, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. What's up? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you here with us today. So, Keith, we've got a lot to talk about.
Come on with it.
Yeah, that's right. And the writer's strike just ended, and that's major news for all of us, but especially for someone like you. So, first, if we can just get your it's been about a week now, maybe a little over a week since the writer's strike ended. Can you just give us your reaction to that strike ending and the deal that the writers got?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, I just want to say I'm very happy at the progress that we're making, because the way that this thing works is that the leadership that they agreed on a deal. So now the members have to vote on it. Mm-hmm. So that voting began on October the 2nd. Mm-hmm. And then it will end on Monday, October the 9th, to make sure that the members agree that, they want to move forward with the deal. And that's confidential right now. For me, I'm just so excited that it is getting close to an end. Mm-hmm. Everybody can get back to work. Well, at least all the writers. We still have to wait for the AMPTP to negotiate with SAG.
Right.
From my understanding is that they weren't comfortable doing both at the same time.
Okay.
So once we get that knocked out, where the members of the Writers Guild, where they vote and they come to an agreement that they want to move forward with the deal, they go back to work, and then SAG, then they go into negotiations, and hopefully that won't take too long, because what they want is very similar to what the Writers Guild was seeking. So then we can all get back to work, man. I've got some stuff in queue that I'm ready to start working on, and I'm sure that's the same for a lot of other people.
If you want to get involved in this conversation, give us a call at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580 if you have a question or a comment. So, Keith, you just said you have a lot that you want to work on, that you want to get started on. Tell us about that. What are the things that you're getting ready to get back to work on once the strike is officially over?
Well, I have some of it's confidential.
Mm-hmm. Of course,
right?
of course.
But it's
whatever you can share with us.
Yeah, well, one is a film project. It's a biopic.
Is this something you're writing or you're producing or?
I can't say that yet either.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, a biopic that I'm working on with some other folks, and then also just because my focus on the news side is entertainment. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people that I was having on the show, mm-hmm. or also interviewing for my column in the Los Angeles Sentinel, they're writers or actors. And so
they couldn't do your show.
Of course, that's right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we might want to do a full scope, of entertainment. Like we've had on musicians and we've had on music producers and comedians. But a lot of that heart and soul of Black in the Green Room was writers and actors. Yeah. So then I'm just ready. I mean, we're starting because a lot of the sanctions have been lifted, and so we're starting back again to interview more actors, more writers, and I'm happy about that. So, but it will be clear and clean and free once that vote is over on October the 9th, and we can move forward.
Yeah, and just so everyone understands, we're talking about why they couldn't do your show. And that's because of the rules of the strike, the SAG-AFTRA strike and the writers' strike, is that writers and actors, as part of the strike, they were not promoting any projects that were tied in any way to the major studios. So that includes interviews, even if it's with the excellent host on a Black network like yourself. They're not allowed to do that because it's promoting that project and helping the studios potentially gain revenue from that project and publicity from that project in a positive way. And so all those interviews stopped, and that's why you saw with the film Oppenheimer, the cast of Oppenheimer was, I believe, in London to promote that movie for a premiere, I think, even of that movie. And the news of the strike came down. They left. They left as they were getting ready to go to that premiere, and they didn't go through with it because they understood that how important solidarity is, and that includes doing interviews about their projects. And so that's one of the things that when we were going to talk, I knew we were going to talk today. I wanted to talk to you about is that challenge of having a show in which a lot of the people you talk to are actors and writers, and you can't talk to them because they are not allowed to talk to you because it would be crossing the picket line in a way. So what has that been like for you this past several months, not being able to talk to some of your biggest guests, the area where you interview the most people?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, there were some loopholes. So let me explain it.
Mm-hmm.
The loopholes were that you could have on an actor or you could have on a writer as long as they were not promoting a current project.
Right.
So we could talk about their process or their career, thus far, their personal lives, any kind of outside activities that they have, whether they're philanthropic or sports or businesses. So that was one of the loopholes, but it was really, really hard. Like for instance, I had a couple of friends of mine that had just come out with movies, during the strike, and I would have loved to have had them on to talk about them. One in particular was Back on the Strip with Chris Spencer. It was one of his projects, and we couldn't do it because the strike was in full effect. And it would have been a disservice, to him or any of the other, creatives to, just kind of dance around, their projects while I'm sitting there and talking to them and interviewing them. So that was a huge, huge kink in the armor. And it was really funny because when the strike first started, I hit up Mr. Smiley and I was just like, I don't know what the rules are yet. Yeah, so a lot of my focus at the beginning of the strike was more reality stars, which is cool, reality stars, and like I said, more musical artists and comedians towards the beginning of the strike. Then after I kind of got the rules and understood, then we began to have, a few more personalities on.
Don't get started on the reality shows. My wife she be on those, all the Love is Blind, all those love shows, and the Love at First or Married at First Sight or whatever. All those shows. My wife loves all of those, so I'm sure that she wouldn't mind you interviewing some of those people. But even though you can't, there is that loophole that you can talk to the stars as long as you're not talking about their projects. That, as you alluded to, makes it very difficult to have a real conversation or a full conversation, both for you and them, because you're trying not to ask any questions and make them look bad for ducking it, and they're trying not to give answers in such a way that would in any way mention their films or their projects. So that sounds like a very difficult line to toe. So when we come forward, though, Keith, I want to talk more about your show, of course, but also the state of SAG-AFTRA, and we mentioned it a little bit. That you mentioned it a little bit. That that the AMPTP. I always get that abbreviation wrong. The producers that they didn't want to negotiate with the WGA and SAG at the same time. So we'll talk about that when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
At City National, we listen to you.
I want to expand my business and my legacy.
I want to set up the next generation for success.
I want to see my vision come to life.
I want to feel right at home.
Your goals, passions, vision, future. We want to hear it and work alongside you to achieve it. Visit cnb.com to learn more. City National Bank, here for our clients and communities.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What makes Taco Bell's rolled chicken tacos so good? Is it the shredded, marinated, all-white meat chicken? Well, yeah, obviously. But it's also the 3 amazing dipping sauces to choose from. Spicy ranch, warm nacho cheese sauce, and house-made daily guacamole. Now, if you need a third reason, their white corn tortillas are fried to golden perfection, which everyone knows is the best kind of perfection. Order rolled chicken tacos on the Taco Bell app. Get 1 dip for 2-pack or 2 dips for 4-pack at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It's Avi Bernard in for Dominique DiPrima this morning, and this is First Things First. It is Wednesday, 7:18 a.m. Pacific, 10:18 a.m. Eastern. We are joined by Keith Underwood, host of Black in the Green Room, here on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturdays at 9 p.m. Pacific. So, Keith, we were talking about the strikes, the dual strikes, and this was quite a rare occasion for the WGA and SAG, of which I'm a member, to strike at the same time. And it looked for a while like these strikes might not be over for a really long time. And then the WGA, they strike they strike an agreement for this deal in principle. As you said, they're still voting. How does that process work? They agree to the deal in principle, and then the leadership of WGA agrees to the deal in principle, and then the members have about a week to vote on it. And so is it just a simple majority vote, 51%, or is it a certain threshold they have to pass, 2/3, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's majority rules. Yeah, it's a simple majority rules. And, the process is that, on the WGA website, that the members can go there, they can open up the Memorandum of Agreement, the MOA, and review it. And then they vote, yes or no. And then there's also a space for them to leave comments as well. And the week-long time period, of course, is just to give everyone an opportunity to have a chance to vote. Mm-hmm. So it's about a week-long process to do that. Negotiations have been going on, since the beginning. And I thought that we were going to be looking at maybe into the new year. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, I heard that, they were back in the meeting room along with some of the big wigs like David Zasloff. And so I said, okay, we might be getting close to some kind of resolution. So I was very excited.
Yeah, it is very exciting. And we had a writer from the WGA on Areva Martin's show last week, talking about how he was, trying to prepare his funds to go into January or February of next year. And that's kind of what he was getting prepared for, because that's what it was looking like the situation was going to be. So do you have any information or have you heard anything about why it is that the talks suddenly were able to get going in such a way that they were able to reach a deal all of a sudden?
Always MONEY, man. People have stock holders that they're answerable, to. They have margins, profit margins, as well. And then just also pressure from the public, and then also from, the political sector as well. And so I think that all of those factors, you can only claim, that you're losing so much money behind the strike for so long. At some point, you actually have to start, delivering. And the last time that me and Dominique that we spoke about, the strike, I was telling her, it's just so crazy to me, looking, inside the negotiations from the outside, how it takes so long to come to a point where we're going to end up. It's just like I use the metaphor of being in a relationship, and then you have an argument, and then at some point there has to be a resolution. Whether that's good or bad, there has to be a resolution. So I was just like, okay, can y'all sit down and act like you got some sense, and let's come to some type of resolution.
Well, sure, but you say, how does it take so long to come to a place where we know we're going to end up? But that place could be very different depending on how those negotiations go, and if the writers would have not been as steadfast in their determination to get a good deal, then they might not have. They likely wouldn't have gotten such a favorable deal. So that it's not the same place we're going to end up in exactly. It's a resolution, but it's a resolution that maybe writers are not happy with, and then they end up striking again in another couple years, or they're in a place where they ended up being, which is they love the deal, and a lot of them are even surprised at how good of a deal they got. How were they able to get such a good deal? And can you talk about some of the details of that deal?
Yeah, well, let me correct something. What I was saying was that the AMPTP, that the WGA, they were putting forth, proposals to the AMPTP the entire time of the strike. It wasn't until, and then at one point, I think it was maybe about 3 weeks ago, they thought that they had come to some type of resolution, and they met with the AMPTP, and then found out that, hey, they're not really serious. They want to just use this as a talking point for the media. So then when we got to, I guess, we're at about 2 weeks now, about 2 weeks ago, then that's when they actually came back to the table to have a serious and honest discussion and put some things down on paper. So when I said that, that about the resolution coming more quickly, if the AMPTP had been more willing to negotiate, this process might have moved forward a lot faster, and we wouldn't have people losing their homes. A lot of their livelihoods are having to go through that struggle as long, not as a result of the WGA.
Oh,
the
understood.
AMPTP
Absolutely.
Not coming to. Yes.
Absolutely understood on that front. So, do you have any of the details of that deal that we have been hearing is really favorable to writers in a lot of ways, and that they're very pleased with the deal? Why are they so pleased with this deal?
Yeah, now that I have no idea on, because it hasn't been officially released to the public yet. It's only been released to members.
Okay.
And and then during my time with the WGA, that would have been breaking, confidentiality if I did have anything, if I was privy to any information. But I guess we can base it on the things that we know that they wanted. Like, for instance, the thing with AI. And AI generating, content, and then also mini rooms, where we have, well established, writers creating a project, and then after they've done that, then they bring in less experienced writers, and then maybe a showrunner to take over after that, so they can have some type of job security. So I'm sure, and then also, as with SAG, residuals through streaming. A streamer can buy a project, and and they're buying the rights to air it on their streaming service, but the actors were not getting paid residuals for that. So I'm sure that there has been some type of resolution to those items that were on the table, and I'm sure that the deal is favorable in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that one of the things that the writer who was on our on Ariva show last week was talking about. His name is Kirk Moore. He was saying that a writer has to get the credit for a show, even if whatever process is used, they have to get the credit, and it can't be a non-human entity getting credit as a writer. That means that person has to still get paid, even if AI were to be used in some way. Then that person still has to get paid the same way, and that's the important thing, is that they're not getting these writers out of the job so that AI can get used and for them to save money, which as you said, MONEY, that's what all of this is about. But a question though, in terms of the process, how is it that if they're still voting on whether to accept the agreement, that some writers are already getting back to work? They've already gone back to work.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, that there are some loopholes, during this time of ratification where some people have been allowed to go back to work. As a matter of fact, I've got some friends that are working on Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, and they actually started back to work on Monday. So there were some provisions made for folks to go back to work, while they're having the vote. And then if they decide that they don't agree with the agreement, with the MOA, then they go back on strike again, or they go back to the negotiating table. But just like you just said, most of the writers that I've talked to, and like you said, the writers that you talked to, they're very happy with the deal that's been presented to them. So hopefully, after October the 9th, we can fully and officially get back to work.
And so, yeah, just piggybacking on that, do you think that the overwhelming odds are that the agreement will be, or that the deal will be agreed to by the WGA?
Yeah, in my humble opinion, from what I'm hearing, yes, writers are eager to get back to work, and there's always got to be some give and take on both sides.
Sure.
And so whatever it was that the writers had to give a little on, it must have still been palatable enough for them to start back to work, and then hopefully, like I said, after October 9th, stay back at work.
Yeah, I'm excited to have the WGA on the verge of agreeing to that deal officially, and as I said, as a member of SAG-AFTRA, looking forward to that strike being over soon as well. And that's what I want to talk to you about when we come forward, is the state of the SAG-AFTRA agreement or potential agreement, the SAG-AFTRA deal, the SAG-AFTRA negotiations. Now that the WGA is just about done, I want to talk about what the prospects are of the actors likely being able to go back to work soon, as well as the impact on black talent. What has this strike meant for black creators, and has it hit us harder? Has it hit us the same? Things tend to hit us harder in every area of life. So I want to talk about that when we come forward right after this news, traffic, and sports update right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. New York City African-American Mayor Eric Adams leaves today on a 4-day trip to South and Central America to try and discourage more migrants from coming to the city. Adams will first head to Mexico City, and then later in the week he'll visit Colombia and Ecuador. Cell phones across the country will be getting an emergency alert today. The federal government is conducting a nationwide test of the emergency alert system this afternoon. FEMA and the FCC are running the test to make sure the alert system is running smoothly in case Americans are threatened by natural disasters, terrorism, or other emergencies. The jolting sound should start hitting phones around 2:20 Eastern Time, and the test window will run for about 30 minutes. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Hey, if you're thinking of getting the latest iPhone, you need to stop and check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just pick up your phone and dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from this station.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Philadelphia 76ers are expecting James Harden to show up at training camp sometime today. Harden skipped media day on Monday and the first day of training camp on Tuesday. Harden is still trying to get the Sixers to trade him to the Clippers. The two teams have not had any significant talks regarding the seven-time All-Star, which means Harden may have to suck it up and stay with the Sixers. The Sixers can fine him for each day he fails to report. Harden will make $32.9 million this season. As much as Harden wants out of Philadelphia, he doesn't want to lose his money. The NBA has already hit him for $100,000 for missing media day. The Dodgers might know today who they'll play in the playoffs. If Arizona beats Milwaukee today, the Dodgers and Arizona will start their best-of-5 series on Saturday here in LA. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
1455 Frazee Road, Suite 500, San Diego, California, 92108. Online at CordellCordell.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Venus for Pubic Hair and Skin is here with the only razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with a patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Visit GilletteVenus.com to learn more about our full regimen of products.
Here comes the brand new flavor in your head.
Race, social justice, sports, politics, art, music, culture. We do it all on the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show. If you're not tuning in, then you are definitely missing out. It's the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show, weekdays from 2 to 4 only on unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Like a brand new flavor in your head. Yeah.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/BlackBeyondMeasure.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
It's First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, Avi Bernard in for Dominique this morning, and we are joined by Keith Underwood, host of Black in the Green Room here on KBLA Saturdays at 9 p.m. Pacific. All right, Keith, let's talk about this SAG strike. So, you mentioned that the producers, the AMPTP, is that the abbreviation AMPTP?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, American Motion Picture Television. Yeah.
There's a lot of P's and T's in there, and I just always feel like I'm messing it up. But the AMPTP.
Dude, I mess it up too.
Got you. So they didn't want to negotiate with the WGA and SAG at the same time. Do we have any idea of now whether now, since the WGA deal is on the verge of becoming official, that the AMPTP is kind of moving closer to getting back to negotiations with SAG?
Yeah, I would say what should happen is after a resolution is come to next week with the WGA, that the AMPTP should go back to the table with SAG immediately after that, because the reality is you can write all you want to, but who is going to perform it? Mm-hmm. So, so if the goal is for us to, get Hollywood back up and running, then definitely they need to get back to the table with SAG as soon as possible.
Do you think that the strength of the WGA deal, at least as it's been reported so far, will have any effect on how good of a deal the SAG actors get?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because a lot of the issues are the same, albeit different, but, very similar with the issues around AI and living wages and, some of those things. So I think that the argument would be if, you came to a resolution with the writers, on these items, can you do the same for us? That would be my theory.
Yeah, and on that same note, when the actors joined the strike, the forthcoming analogy is not something that I made up. This is something that I heard someone else say. That the writers were kind of like the high school nerds. And when they stepped aside, the producers were like, okay, yeah, I mean, fine. That's you guys go ahead and strike. But when the actors, it was like the cool kids, the popular kids, like the jocks or whatever, they joined the strike. Then the AMPTP was like, oh, okay, doggone it. Now we really maybe we might have to come out the pocket a little bit. Did the fact that the actors joined the writers' strike, even though it wasn't right away, their negotiations fell apart at different times, did that kind of assist the writers in getting a better deal? Just the fact that the actors were striking at the same time, and it put more pressure on the AMPTP.
Yes, solidarity, baby.
That's right.
Coming together. And I just think that those two entities, coming together, it was just so powerful, to see them out there striking, side by side. And SAG, even before they went on strike, they were out and striking with the WGA, just to let it be known that we are in solidarity. As you know, the Directors Guild at the time had reached their agreement, and it was looking a little scary because, of course, the studios and the streamers, they stockpile scripts. And so if the actors had not have gone on strike, well, technically there were directors and there were actors, so Hollywood could have progressed in some awkward, type of, way. But the fact that SAG decided to join with the WGA, that was a very powerful message that was being sent to the AMPTP.
And now you've been in this business a long time, and a lot of people, they hear that SAG is striking, and why are these rich actors asking for more money? These rich actors are so greedy. They already make millions of dollars. Can you just kind of underline how most actors are not rich, and that is the top 1% of actors, and the vast majority of actors are just trying to make it and just trying to earn a living wage, and most of us have other jobs and things that we have to do just to survive, just so we can continue to pursue our dreams.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. And when you say that there's a top 1%, those for us. Those are people like your Denzel, Kevin Hart, folks like that sustain the union. But everyone else, it's an everyday struggle. And so there hasn't been an increase in wages in years. And all SAG is asking for is an 11% general wage increase. And that's just to be able to sustain, to live, to be able to, in some people's cases, pay their rent or put food on the table. And the reality is like you were just saying, that I've heard some actors say that if you want to get into acting nowadays, you have to think of it as a second job. You have your primary commitment that has some flexibility, and then your hobby or your second job is acting. And that's the reality of where we are now. And those golden days of, Hollywood, where everyone had mansions and pools and cars, those days are over, because quite honestly, SAG is very oversaturated, right now, and the work cannot sustain its membership. And so that's a harsh reality that we're dealing with. So this very nominal increase of 11% at least will help people to have a living wage and sustain their lifestyles.
Yeah, in addition to that 11%, of course, there's the AI protections that they want as well.
Yes.
But yeah, for me personally, I was in a show called Scorpion on CBS, and I remember I just filmed for 2 days. I was guest starring in an episode, and I remember getting that residual check. I was like, oh, okay, this is nice. It was just 2 days,
right.
just 2 days of work, but I guess it aired a lot, and that episode, and then I was also in an episode more recently on a show called Boss Legacy on Amazon Prime, which is not one of the networks. Obviously, it's a streamer, and I don't remember seeing residuals on that for very long. And then when I did, it was nowhere near the amount of residuals for CBS, the CBS show that I was on. And you're talking about residuals, you're talking about the amount of times that something airs and you get paid per airing, and the streamers were not and are not, at least to this point, forthcoming about the number of times it airs and the revenue that's involved, and so they're not revenue sharing the way that networks were obligated to do, because we can see how many times it airs on those. There are ways we can see that, but not with the streamers. And so that's one of the things. And when you're thinking about an actor who is trying to make it, they depend on those residuals very, very heavily to continue to even do that work. And as you said, Keith, you have to have another job if you're an actor. Almost certainly. You have to not only have a job, but a flexible job, because auditions come in a lot of times, if not the same day, then the night before, and you have to move things around if you can. And that's why you have to have a job that is at least very flexible, because you need to be able to move things on short notice, and then you may book something and you have to miss a couple of days of work, and then those couple of days of work might sustain you for a couple months, and it is a day-to-day thing for almost every actor, unless you're talking about, as you said, the Denzels and the Tom Hanks and the people whose names you've heard. And so there are so many thousands and thousands of actors who you never have heard of or never will hear of, who continue to work, and you may not even realize that they were in this or they were in that, but this is what they do, and those residuals are just vitally important.
Mm-hmm. And you run into them at Trader Joe's or a bouncer at a club or doing security. Man, I had some clients that were on some top-rated shows, as a part of Second Cast or something like that still had roommates.
Yeah.
And that these are people that would walk down the street and people would recognize, and this was the state of their financial stability. So no, that's real. That's very, very real of what's going on. And I think that the general public that we need to say that more often. And I think some people, especially, those that have had a little bit more success, but still not at that top tier, need to start sharing with the general public so that they understand that, hey, it's not like it used to be. This is a struggle, and we need to be compensated fairly. It's not that, we're a bunch of Hollywood actors that are asking for additional, we are with residuals, but that we're not asking for anything that we don't deserve and to sustain a living wage.
Right. And I heard an interview recently with Cal Penn, who is one of the stars of Harold and Kumar, that franchise. I think they made 3 movies. And he also ended up going on to work in the President Obama White House. But he, in the interview I heard with him, he was talking about how Harold and Kumar came out, and it initially didn't do well in theaters, but it ended up doing really, really well on the streaming and DVD DVD at the time, and their deal was structured in such a way that he didn't get compensated for that. And so everyone's seen that movie, or at least heard of it. Most people have anyway, and they're seeing him, and he's like, I'm still driving around in my mom's car, and they're like, well, I thought you were this big, rich Hollywood actor, and just because you've seen someone in a film, a well-known film or well-circulated film, or even 2 or 3, it doesn't mean that they're at a place where, oh yeah, I got it made, I'm good. Not even close.
That's right, and it's crazy because there is no reporting, and they say they're not using any systems to be able to track how many viewers are. They know how many clicks they're getting.
Oh yeah,
they know how many views. They know how many views that they're getting. But because the accessibility might be higher with the streamers, so that those residuals might be a little less. That's understandable.
Sure,
but still pay people for their work.
Yeah, as long as they're getting the fair share. If it's less, then I think we're all okay with that. It's just that them keeping us in the dark and not sharing at all. That's obviously unacceptable. But when we come forward, Keith, I do want to just talk about how the strikes have or might have or maybe still are affecting black entertainers, and whether or not the strikes have hit us harder. When we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Moments like seeing my son's team cheer him on mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity, and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online. Qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
A sense of peace. A place to kick back and put down roots. A lasting legacy. However you define home, at City National, we're committed to helping you get there with our City National Ladder Up Home Loan Program. Find the full benefits at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National Bank, here for our clients and communities. Ladder Up program is available only in select areas. Terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS ID 536994.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, yeah, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's First Things First with Dominique DiPrima. Avi Bernard in for Dominique today. And in hour number 3, the 8 a.m. Pacific hour, we're going to have Sahara Ali talking with us and giving you readings. If you want to get a reading from Sahara Ali, you're going to want to call us at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580 to get her take on what's going on in your life. And all you have to do is provide your name and birthday, and she'll probably surprise you. If you're not familiar, then it's a conversation you'll want to hear and likely participate in. But right now we're joined by Keith Underwood, host of Black in the Green Room here on KBLA, Saturdays at 9 p.m. Pacific. So I done messed around, Keith, and got a radio career as an actor, trying to pursue acting, and messed around and got a whole radio career. But I do want to talk about how black talent have been affected because of this strike, and whether it has affected us differently. You know, as a black actor, it is difficult to get jobs, and there aren't as many roles for us, and there aren't as many productions led by us in front of the camera and behind the camera. It's not as easy to get work. But how has this strike, in your opinion, affected black talent?
Right. Well, kind of like what you were just saying, we're always a marginalized group. And so our representation in front of the camera and behind the scenes is always going to be lower. And then along with that, especially on the writer side, many writers get into the room on a provisionary basis because they are a writer of color. Now, and that might come through some type of diversity writing trainers program. And then So then once that's up, there is no guarantee that they're going to keep you. So like I said, with any marginalized group like black folks like us, it's always going to be tougher, on us because there's already less access.
Yeah, completely understood. Keith, in the last few minutes, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not sure if we've covered every angle of this, if there's anything I'm missing, anything that we haven't talked about yet that we should discuss before we run out of time for this hour.
Man, I think that we have hit. Oh, there is one good one, man, and that definitely affects black folks. With SAG-AFTRA, is the hair and makeup professionals.
Yes.
One of the things that they're asking for in the SAG deal is that there are hair and makeup professionals that can do safely and effectively a variety of types of hairstyles and skin tones. And that is a direct effect on black people of making sure that we're looking good, we're looking fly, just like everybody else.
Oof, that cannot be, the importance of that cannot be overstated, because I talk about this with black actors and actors, both male and female, all the time, including my wife, because she's an actor as well, and she has this big, beautiful hair, and it's not everyone knows how to handle it, and even me myself, as someone who, if you're watching on YouTube, you see I have very short hair. I when I'm on set, I usually end up adjusting my lineup myself, because there's not going to be a black barber on the set for me, almost certainly. And so I have to make sure I'm getting a haircut the day before, and if I need to tidy it up on set, then I always have my clippers with me on set. That's something that I always do.
That comes out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
That comes out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
They're not compensating you for that. And then on the flip side of that too, not only having professionals that can do, in our case, black hair and black makeup, but also equipped to do the various complexions within the scope of being black. Don't just have one person that you think, usually someone that's Caucasian, to do somebody's face, and they're either too light or too dark.
Very true. Very true. And it's in addition to the hair, that, as you said, there is that makeup aspect where it's not something that is easy, and it's something that the person or people on staff might not have any experience in, especially if you're talking about a wide range of skin tones that you're starting to see in more and more productions. But Keith, I've talked about your show a little bit, but tell us about your show and maybe what you've got coming up this week if you've got it scheduled already.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Black in the Green Room, I created it as an avenue, of course, to interview entertainers because they're a draw. But I also wanted to show our audience that there are more options in the entertainment industry, not just in front of the camera, but behind the scenes as well. So we also have on writers, we have on, producers, engineers, just, a spectrum of people within the entertainment industry. And this week, I have a very special guest. It is comedian, actress, and now model Lunel. And it's a show that you do not want to miss. And it broadcasts on Saturday, or it airs Saturday at 9 p.m., and then rebroadcasts on Sunday at 8 p.m.
She has a new comedy special out, doesn't she?
Oh, yes, one produced by Dave Chappelle, and we talk about it a lot. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's absolutely hilarious. Everybody needs to check it out on Netflix. It's
on my list to watch, and I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to ask you that question yet, since it's since the actor strike is still happening. But that's one of those things that we're still figuring out. But that sounds like a great interview. I'm looking forward to watching. I've been having that on my list to watch ever since I heard that it was coming out and that it came out. So that's really exciting that you're going to get to interview Lunel this Saturday. And how can people keep up with you online?
Yeah, on Instagram, it's UMA Worldwide, and that's the name of my company. And then on FB, it's Keith L. Underwood, and we don't use, that other one anymore.
I do not blame you at all. You're talking about the one formerly known as Twitter, that some people call X, but I still call Twitter because X is just the lamest possible name you could have for a social media site,
right?
And especially considering the person who owns it, I'm hardly on there anymore either. And that's
a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. we could do an hour on that alone, because wow, what a dumpster fire that whole situation has been. What a way to just completely ruin something. It takes a special kind of jerk to do that kind of thing. But Keith, we're out of time for the hour. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Keep up the good work with Black in the Green Room.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll catch up with you soon. And coming up, when we come forward, we are going to be talking to Sahara Ali. She is going to do some live readings for us and for you. So if you want to get a reading, you might want to get in the queue. The number is 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. This hour is going to be dedicated to giving you live readings. And it is, even if you don't want to get one, it's really fascinating to listen to. And we're going to have Sahara also do some readings on some people who some people who we all know, like President Joe Biden. What's coming up in his situation? What's coming up for Donald Trump? We're going to do a reading for him as well. And me personally, I am very interested in the Lakers, how they're going to fare this season. So we're going to ask Sahara to do a reading on LeBron James. And also, the MLB playoffs are getting ready to start. I'm going to ask her to do a reading on Mookie Betts. So we're gonna have that conversation when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the to Mexico City and then